Hey guys, it's Luke here. Thanks for your interest in the large scale automation system that we've put together for you guys. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the specifics, how it works, kind of show you what we're doing from our end, and then show you how to take advantage of this thing. Okay, so for you guys that aren't familiar with this, basically, we've been crushing it with an automated mailing system. And like we always like to say, by taking a nap and checking our bank account, we've got this automated mailing thing going. So the concept behind this is really pretty simple. The system will automate your entire mailing process. Everything from writing the copy for you, choosing the offers for you, doing the broadcasts for you, and then finally optimizing that entire process for you. It's really pretty amazing. A lot of you guys have seen our help session where we talked about this. So what I want to do now is bounce it over to Mark so that he can show you specifically what we're doing with our system and give you an idea behind the numbers and the stats. And then I'll come back on to explain kind of how to take advantage of this thing. So we're going to send it over to Mark.
All right, I just want to go over a couple of things here. This is my automated account right here. And I just go over what all these stats mean and basically how this happened. Now, what this is essentially it's called an integrated API account, which integrates right directly with your software. And how it works is they make a creative on your behalf and you just simply send it out to your list. It's all done in the background. There's no thinking involved. The only thinking that there is you just have to select a list you want to send to, and then it will automatically send out creatives. And once you start sending to that same list, what it does is it automatically figures out what types of creatives they're clicking on and sends them, figures out, what type of person they are and sends them other creatives that they've seen in the past. So this person, they clicked on this offer, so more than likely they'll like this other offer. So it automatically actually improves itself. So hopefully you'll get more clicks and get paid out more. Now, how they figure out how you get paid with this is on a per click basis. You can see up here is just the revenue for last month. And you can see it's a price per click is 44 cents. And down here, this is what we get paid. You can see the price per click varies. Some days as high as 71 cents a click. That day you can see it did over $1,500 just in one day. Not really doing anything different. You can see that first we started out the month not sending as much volume. And then we quickly ramped up, and you can see that the income really started to get a lot better as well. And pretty much you can see this is what we did for last month, $21,000, which is roughly $700 a day. And this might blow your mind as far as how many emails we sent out. This is roughly 79 million emails, which equates to about 2.6 million emails a day. And how you can do that is, of course, you have these huge servers with what they call a /24 set of IPs. And with that set, you can send out literally millions of emails a day just off of those IPs. And I mean, that's pretty much how it works. You just select, what list you want to send from, and then everything else is done in the background. There is no thinking about it. And sometimes you might want to send to your openers and clickers maybe a second time during the day because they do best as far as opening and clicking emails, but that's about it. That's exactly what we're going to show you how to do and set up for you, so you're not really having to think about it. I was actually having to do this manually, but we're going to make it to where it's all going to be hands off, so you really won't have to do much at all as far as work goes. So hopefully this makes a whole lot of sense to you. It's pretty exciting. $21,000 for not really doing anything is really good. There's a lot of people that barely even make $21,000 in a year, let alone a month, not even really doing anything. So it's super excited to do this and get this set up for you guys, and can't wait to see it going for you.
Okay, so as you guys can see, it's a pretty powerful system, very automated, and a chance to really get a high amount of revenue coming in on an automated basis. So let's talk a little bit more in detail about what our current setup is, as Mark basically discussed. Currently, the setup is 3 servers. So we've got 3 servers going. Each of those servers has what's called a /24 set of IPs on it. Basically means a lot of IPs, more than 250 IPs on each server that we're mailing from. And on each of those servers, we're sending about a million emails per day, which took us about 30 to 40 days to ramp up to a million emails on each server. And you saw some days we sent about 3 million, some days we sent less than 2, but on average we're sending about a million emails per server. So it took us about 30 to 40 days to warm up those IPs to get to that volume. That's what we would recommend you do as well. So that's our current setup. 3 servers, sending about a million emails per day per server. All right. So let's talk about the ROI and the stats breakdown with this system so you can kind of get a feel for what to expect. You saw Mark brought in a little over $21,000 on our 3 servers. So that's about $7,000 of revenue per month per server. Okay, so $7,000 a month. Now, there are 2 major expenses with this that we have. We have our data expense, and that's a little less than $1,700 a month for us. Here's the way the data works. Basically, we are refreshing our list on that server about once every 3 months. So we're not necessarily paying $1,700 each month. We're paying one chunk every 3 months, but that equates to a little less than $1,700 a month is what we're paying for our data. So $1,700 a month for data, and then about $1,550 a month for the servers. Okay, so how that breaks down is a total cost of about $3,250. So if we subtract that from our revenue, we end up with about $3,750 profit per month per server. Okay, so what a tiny investment for that kind of return, basically doubling our money approximately each month. So, I always like to say, find a rental property or a real estate investment where you're going to get that kind of cash flow for that little risk or outlay. Okay, so now the important part. I want to talk about how you guys can replicate or duplicate the system that we've got for yourself. We've come up with 3 different options for you, and they range from just kind of getting started to exactly replicating our system, what you saw with the 3 servers. So let's talk about the first option. So for option number 1, what you can do is start out with 1 server. Okay, so we're going to give you 1 server and a million records for that server. Now remember, that million records can last you 3 months or even longer, but you don't really have to refresh that data every 3 months. Now, we still recommend testing other data sources and stuff, of course, but that should match your 1 server. Okay, so 1 server, you get a million records, and the price is going to be $10,000 up front for the entire setup. So the whole server setup, the separate install of Cobra Mailer that you're going to get, the integration with the API, the whole 9 yards, and then $1,550 per month. Now you guys saw what we were making per month, and that's our server cost per month at $1,550. So you can kind of get an idea of what your potential is there. So that's option number 1, kind of get you started. 1 server, a million records, and you can get rolling. Okay. Option number 2 is real simple. We've simply added a server. So you get 2 servers. You get the million records still, of course, which would be good for 3 months. We would recommend, grabbing another million records from one of your sources for that second server. This will be $16,500 up front and $2,550 per month. So basically you're saving about $500 a month when you add that second server, which is awesome because that equates to direct profit right back into your system. And again, the reason we can provide you savings is because we get savings as you order multiple servers from our provider. So everything is good. Everybody wins. So that's the second option, 2 servers and the million records. Now for the third option, it's basically replicating our system that you saw us giving you stats for exactly, the same exact thing. You're going to get 3 servers. You get 1 million records, so you would probably want to add about another 2 million records so that you could get each server up to 1 million apiece, like what we're doing. But this is going to be $23,000 up front, and then $3,550 per month, which is about a savings of $1,000 a month if you order 3 servers, which again, that's $1,000 a month profit basically that you're putting back in. That's not a cost. If you would decide to add servers later, it's a per server cost. So we can get discounts when you do more than one, basically. That's why you can get those savings. So again, remember, you're talking about a return here of like what we're doing. We're doubling our money, right, every month. So if you can do that, you're killing it, right? So that's your third option. Now, a few more things that we need to cover here. The setup process. Basically, what you do to set this thing up is you're going to purchase one domain per server. So how many ever servers you purchase a domain. Now, you may have to rotate those domains in and out depending on how quickly you burn out that domain, or if you do. So you can assume, every couple of months you might want to swap out a domain. But again, a negligible cost compared to everything else. And then you simply need to set up the name servers that we give you, or you can give us the login, and our tech guys will take care of it for you. So everything else is done for you. And what they're going to do is set up the hardware from the provider, test it, make sure everything's working well. They will set up the name servers for you if you need to. Then we're going to install an instance of Cobra Mailer, its own individual one, so that you can mail this kind of volumes on that server. Test the IPs, make sure everything's ready to rock. Then we'll integrate it with the automated provider and make sure that's working well. And then we'll basically turn you loose. So the setup is pretty simple on your part. It's basically buying a domain and telling us you're ready to go. I mean, it's not really a whole lot on your part. Now, here is what your responsibility actually is, though. You need to check your deposits, make sure you're getting paid. It's pretty easy, right? Your payments come net 30, so it's just like a CPA network because that's how we get paid. So obviously, you guys get paid net 30, same way. And again, we're suggesting you refresh your data every quarter. So every 3 months, you want to probably refresh your data, maybe test some more sources in the beginning, and then maintain the list in the software that you want to mail to it. So the beautiful thing about this is if you just refresh your data every 3 months, you upload your records, your million records for that particular server, and then you just let it go. And so every 3 months, you might have, a 10-minute job to upload new data or refresh it, whatever you're doing, and that's it. So that's it, guys. Make sure you're getting paid, refresh your data every quarter, or more often if you want to be more ambitious, and then you maintain that list in software. It's pretty simple. The system takes care of the rest. Now, here's some important points that you should take note of. One thing is you're not going to be able to upload your own list directly into the system. So when you do get data, what you're going to do is send that to us, and then our techs will handle that upload process. 2 reasons. One, because of the size of those lists, it's just better to do it in a more tech-oriented way than manually doing it through the software interface. And the second, more important reason is we are wanting to make sure we keep our IP space clean for everybody. If somebody uploads junk data, that could screw up all of us, and we don't want anybody affecting our income or your income either. So the idea to keep it clean is you'll give it to our techs. We will run it through kind of our proprietary system of cleaning data, which is a multi-step process. And basically the idea there is it cleans the data, removes all the hard bounces, make sure that you're not going to screw up the IP space. And it's for your own good and ours as well. It's going to keep everybody inboxing and everybody making money. Now, important point here, we're not taking your data and stealing it or mailing it or any of that crap. We are simply doing this to clean it. So if you want to seed it, you are more than welcome to. But anyway, that's an important point to note. So you'll just send us your data. We'll have our techs handle it and then put it in the software for you. From that point on, you can kind of maintain that list within the software. Pretty basic. Here's another really important point. Spots are very limited for this, obviously. We have a max capacity of 30 servers. This is all our provider can handle. We've basically leased the entire space, and we can lease up to 30 servers is what we can do. That's their capacity. So what that means is we've only got 10 spots available maximum if everybody chooses the 3 server option. Okay. So here's how we're handling this. You're going to have 24 hours to respond to this. We basically are going to email 10 people at a time. The first 10 people that responded and said they were interested are going to get this access to this video. Then if not all of the servers are taken up or all of the spots filled, then we'll mail the next 10 and the next 10 and so on until either all 10 spots are filled at 3 servers each, or until all servers are used at, one guy had 1 server, this guy had 3, this guy had 2, etc. Right? So we've got 30 servers available, and that's the maximum possible. Okay, so you've got 24 hours from seeing this video to respond and get moving on it. Otherwise, it goes to the next 10 guys in line until we fill up all the spots. Okay?